More than 3,000 years ago, according to the old Zoroastrian text Avesta, the Iranians praised the natural powers manifested in different gods, both good and evil. Divinities were the absolute manifestations of Ormazd, the god of goodness. The demons were regarded as the various realizations of Ahriman, the evil rival. Among these gods it was Vayu, the wind power, who enjoyed a dual character, propitious if it blew in favor, and evil when it blew in opposition. According to the tradition, gradually ancient Iranians started to control and tame his naughty and even destructive natural power. On the land, namely Iranian deserts and the Persian seashore, they erected wind traps named bargirs, wind torrents, on top of architectural elements. These would snare the hot wind and make it cool and guide it to the spaces located down under. On the Persian Gulf, the wind power was tamed after they invented sails, and the oars were replaced by it. The vessels once requiring the mighty men to row now needed wise navigators to lead. Older oral traditions of Iran attribute the invention of ships to the mythological King Jamshid. Shahnameh is among the prominent texts to report this incident. Around 2,500 years ago, Darius the Great reported of his orders to dig a canal from the Red Sea to the Nile. This text is available in 3 languages. Herodotus wrote of Darius the Great as the discoverer of the greater parts of Asia, wishing to know where the Indus emptied itself into the sea. So he sent a number of men, on whose truthfulness he could rely, who sailed down to the river in an easterly direction, and then turned westward, and after the voyage of 30 months, he reached that place. The Iranians have recorded this ancient knowledge on coins, seals, ceilings, or dishes. Many ancient coins bear the pictures of a rowing boat and anchors. Under the old Iranian dynasties, such as the Achaemenians, Parthians, and Sasanians, the Iranian navigators and merchants would cross the seas and oceans. They also bequeathed this heritage from Muslim Iranians. As Sir Muhammad Iqbal Lahori wrote in his foreword to the book A History of Persian Navigation by the Indian Iranist Professor Hadi Hassan, I have read eagerly some part of the book A History of Persian Navigation, authored by Hadi Hassan, and I have enjoyed it. Besides the numerous Iranian references, the author has utilized the Arabic and the Chinese references. He also has used the inscriptions, images and the coins, and has come to the conclusion that although the Sasanian Empire fell simultaneously with Yazgird, the Iranians' marine activity has been continued till the domination of Mutawakkil, the Abbasid Caliph, before passing it on to the Arabs. The old art of manufacturing the traditional floating vessels called lenjes has remained relatively unchanged. The Lenj boom was once the best ship for Iranian sailors, and even now it is still competing with rivals. But the gradual decrease in the numbers of longer voyages is limiting its popularity. The Lenj boom structure has been designed for distant voyages. Lenjes are composed of various parts made of special types of wood depending on their function. Contemporarily made lenjes are used solely for short journeys, such as fishing and pearl hunting. Older lenjes were capable of travelling for 8 months up to 1 year. The Persian sailors used to launch their commercial ships from the 3 ports of Laft, Kong and Lian in Bushehr, and would head for Africa or India. Of course, the marine routes were not limited to these destinations. Travels to Basra in Iraq, as well as the regions located on the southern coast of the Persian Gulf, were also common. Their main trades were dates, wood of chandel, pottery, coconuts and other fruits. Before the introduction into the tradition of modern positioning systems, Iranian navigators could locate the ship according to the situation of the sun and the stars. A person called Mu'alem, or teacher, was responsible for the positioning job on the Lenj and the stars with his means, including the Persian astrolabe and sextant. At 6 a.m. and again at 6 p.m. he could locate the Lenj on the sea. Navigation by night was the captain's duty. Once introduced into the tradition, compasses brought more convenience for the navigators. They could define routes more delicately, and they started to utilize a combination of the astronomy and the newly witnessed compass technology. The sailors would record the stars' names on the compass. Using this combined method, they would define the route at night, still in the direction of one of the specified stars. The number of stars used as a reference points was 17.
Go فرگ، نش، ناگ، ایوک، واگ، سماک، سر مطلع. این مطلع یعنی طلوع کننده مطلع، جوزه، تیر، اگلین، اگرب، همارن، سهیل، سلبار، کتب. این میشه 17.
The navigational knowledge and its legacy is still passed on from father to son. The youth works with experienced captains side by side in order to get trained. But gradually, the compass is being replaced by the GPS. The younger generations now prefer to work with modern tools, but the old captains of the wooden lenjes still rely upon their traditional compasses. This threatens the part of traditional knowledge. The Iranian navigators also had special formulae to measure the latitude and longitude as well as the water depth. They also attended to the particular winds of the Persian Gulf to find a forecast for their weather. Each wind had and continues to enjoy a native name in different dialects of that region.
نعشی داریم، بعد هوا سهیلی داریم، هوا کوش داریم، هوا شمال داریم، هوا فارسی داریم.
But it was not enough only to know the wind route in order to trace the time of a pending storm. They also attended to the color of the water, the wave heights and also the nature of the blowing winds.
حالا ما یه پارچه ابر کبله آمد. حالا حواسا بکن که تیفونه. کبله یه وقت سرخ میکنه مثل گلگا. تیفونه.
The existence of a number of traditional ceremonies and customs about lenjes and the sea show their rooted symbiosis with nature. One of these ceremonies is Sayyad, Fisherman's New Year. Once a popular ceremony, but nowadays it is only celebrated in the Salak village on Qashm Island. The celebration occurs late in the month of Tir, on June the 22nd. This is surely the only surviving traditional ceremony from the distant years, which is still performed by the locals. No fishing, no trades, and no sea journeys are allowed on this day. In the morning the children collar the animal foreheads with red clay, and by sunset all the villagers gather on the seashores to celebrate the day by playing music and performing the proceedings of the old traditional custom named Shushi. Shushi is a very old ceremony which shows the sailors' respect for the nature. Some people wear special made pieces of clothes and try to represent a seagull and a camel prowling on the shore. When the native music band plays razif, the sailors' traditional music, suddenly a number of men wearing fearful appearances come out of the sea and pretend to attack the people. They are Shushis, the old demons who were asleep and have now been awakened by the New Year's Eve. Badeban Kashi, setting the sails, is the name of another old ceremony. Nowadays, the ceremony is supported by the Loft City Council on the island of Qashm. Long ago, when a ship was about to leave for a long voyage, by the time the sailors were setting the sails, the music would accompany them from the shore. In this way, the sailors' families would bid them farewell. There is no one else but these 40 men who take part in this tradition. Music and rhythms constitute an inseparable part of sailing on the Persian Gulf. In the past, the sailors sang special songs while they were working. In Hormuzgan province, 3 such musical traditions are still distinguishable: Liva, Razif and Azva. The singers describe a marine travel in their songs, which are accompanied by the traditional bagpipe named Neyan Ban. Wooden lenjes are continuously being replaced by the fiberglass substitutes. They are cheaper and the related construction process is not time-consuming, so the number of the fiberglass workshops is increasing, while the wooden lenj construction workshops are gradually being transformed into repair shops for the older lenjes. Traditionally managed lenj construction workshops are very few nowadays. Presently, only the Payposh village on the island of Qashm constitute the base for the most skillful wooden lenj builders. The demands for the wooden lenjes are low, and consequently the traditional knowledge pertaining this craft is fading rapidly. Lenj builders have no guild and no union to reclaim their requests and solve their problems. Their low salary encourages them to give up this craft.
نه دیگه الان چوبی درست نمی‌کنن. مشخص همش چوبی بهتر از فایبرگلاس. دوامش بیشتره.
Know that the disappearance of the traditional lenjes shall push forward negligence regarding the related traditional handicrafts.
اینو باید بکنید وقتی پوشیده بده کمک به صاحبش کن تا درستش کنه. 10 میلیون 15 میلیون بده کار شده. 7 ماه هم کار نکرده 7 ماه.
And once it disappeared, the world's repertory of intangible cultural heritage shall, no doubt, experience a major loss.